Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Swemp Electronics Football Alliance Division 1. And this is round 9. Round 9. We're going over a third of the way through the season at the end of today, and you can see a wonderful fixture list that we have got. We're going to take a look at the results from last time quickly, and we can see that there were goals. There were goals in these games. Something that maybe Division 1 has got over Division 2 at the moment. And it's going to be a good one. It is going to be good. Last time round, Atletico New Mills, Allenson FC were beaten 4-0 by the Steel Hawks. Dalgety Rangers 4-1 winners over Asnes Ajax for two big games full of goals. What else did we have? We had some classics here. Falaraki beating the Old Age Ballers 2-0 and Loco Calaveras beating Imaginary Madrid, who are now under new management of Chris Thacker. They need to turn their season around a little bit after a start that was very sporadic with, I suppose, little management going on. Roundhay versus Norsk Trafford, and Norsk under new management today, but the management team will come in as of next game. So Mr. Haggis himself, Ian Campbell, will be in as of next week in charge of the team. But if he's on stream today, he is welcome to make any subs. Team GB 0, Real E 2, and Tyneside 0, Trumpton 1. Mr. Sandford, good evening, welcome to the stream. There's not many people here at the moment, and they will be soon, as usual, on a Thursday. It can take a little bit of time to get going. Maybe they're not so sure I'm so prompt. Hope you're well this evening anyway, and thank you very much for, or this afternoon as it may be for you. And of course, great to have you on the show. The table, as it looked last time, Dalgety Rangers 4 points clear. It's not been a bad season at all for them after they came up from Division 2 last season. Kept the squad almost the same and have been free scoring, with Van Nistelrooy and Nikiforenko doing absolutely heroics for the team this season. Big Kid is here. Good evening to Big Kid. Yes, yeah, from Canada. I remembered it was from over the Atlantic, because every time we've had evening things, you've mentioned the afternoon there. Yeah, Big Kid, hope you're doing well after a big evening yesterday for you. It's hopefully an earlier finish for you today. Jim, good evening, Jim. We still need to arrange something involving a trip to your place for some Swemp meet up maybe soon. That'll be great. And Steve, good evening, Steve. Welcome. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's good to have you on. And there he is, Ross Swallow, turning up here, swanning in top of the table as he is. Great to have you on the. I know you've been watching quite a few of the shows, but haven't been able to comment. So good to have you on today. It's certainly picking up. It's amazing. I've got, there's 5 of you making comments. It tells me I've got no viewers, which makes me feel a little bit better now looking at those stats. Absolutely no viewers and no chat rate, but you're all here. So Dalgety Rangers 4 points clear of Loco Calaveras, who, it must be great for Los Hughes to have a team that can finally score goals. 5 wins, 2 defeats, but doing a great job there. And then Big Kid's Trumpton, Zidane-inspired side. We should have Big Kid on their chat with us next week. That would be great if he's on. I think he's coming to join the commentary for that. It now tells me I have 1 viewer. Managed to do almost no work today. That is superb. That is how you should be. How you should be going about things. It works for me. Then Steel Hawks, David's team it provides entertainment, doesn't it, with the 22 goals in their 7 games and doing pretty well. Alf is here. Good evening, Alf. We've almost reached your team in the table. I say almost, we're getting there. Really, and Asnes Ajax, they're doing a decent job there with more wins than defeats, more points than not points as well. Whenever I'm saying it, Jim, that'll be great to do January, February time. I'm sure we can sort something out post Christmas rush. Steve says it's time to put the kettle on, and of course, Steve's always around to do changes if David isn't here. But he has requested, or he certainly had requested a late game. I don't know if he's deleted his tweet because he wanted to change it or not, but we'll put him on last as it stands so far. North Trafford, we just mentioned North Trafford under new management as of kind of as of today, but next week as well. I've just noticed a message from Mr. Campbell. I haven't got a chance to reply to him about what the drive link is. So if Steve or anyone wants to get in touch with him and let him know how to do that, that'd be great. Trumpton maybe the least entertaining side. 14 goals there. If they've been entertaining, Zidane's been entertaining. He's been playing pretty well. OABs and Roundhay, the old age boilers, the old age boilers. They're probably due for a service and replacement soon, I imagine. They have a +1 goal difference. Roundhay have a -1 goal difference, but they both score the same number of goals and have the same number of points. Doing a it's very competitive now, isn't it? This division, it's looking pretty good. There's Alf's team, Team GB, who I think it's time that they got their season on the right track. And while we talk about track, I know a track and road are slightly different, but Alf talking about doing a big fundraiser next year, going from the most northern bus stop in the whole of Great Britain to the most southern one. I think that's going to be absolutely superb. And if people can meet him around the place and we can get some media coverage for him, that would be absolutely tremendous. And I do wish you well, Alf, on that, and maybe some people can accompany him on the odd leg of the journey. Faliraki and Tyneside. Faliraki, they lost 3 of their numbers, went from 99ers to 96ers. They're just as entertaining this season, and Tyneside with the Newcastle complete Newcastle squad. You can hear in the background being accompanied by my dishwasher tonight. You might, if you're hearing random sounds, the dishwasher is on, not the washing machine tonight, but dishwasher. I am due a co-commentator possibly during this show, but Fifey's recording a special show on his Swindon podcast, which I'll have a listen to and see how he's getting on with that one, because I know they've been going for, I think it's a year. I think it might be a year today or something. So well done to Fifey and those around on the Swindon podcast. Imaginary Madrid, as we say, under new management of Chris Thacker, or Christ Hacker, as I suppose you could take a letter off one name and put it onto another. Wishing them well for the rest of the season as they go forward. And then at the bottom of the table, but by no means the least of our teams, Allenson FC. They have been very entertaining this season, and what a great concept it is. So, quick look at the fixtures. I think I've talked for enough time to allow people to get on there. I don't want to do that, Steve. If you're up for it, you go for it. But I won't. Yeah, Alf can go over the Scottish border for a few miles too on his bus pass. Ah, lovely. So it's across. It's all the way through England, but with a bit of Scotland in. That sounds brilliant. It sounds really, really good. Steve's not calling Alf a boring man there. he's referring to somebody else. So yeah, Allenson Roundhay, 2 teams in the bottom half, and then Dalgety versus North Trafford. It's going to be good on that. 2 teams in the top half. Faliraki and Steelhawks looking, a good half a table apart. And then Loco Calaveras versus Aston's Ajax, who have fallen foul to not having a team in this game, but they should be getting teams in from now on. I think it's a sort of just adjusting to the rules is a good way of describing that. Team GB versus Old Age Ballers. I need to say Boilers again. Me absolutely steaming. I'm not even drinking. But yeah, they will be a close match. You'd imagine some goals in that one too. And then Trumpton Imaginary Madrid and Tyneside versus Real E. And with the exception of... I'll put the kettle on for you, that's tremendous. 5 feet will not be too long. Be done with this Swindon one in about 10 minutes. So we'll get a game going, certainly, and have a little look at how we get on. But, yeah, take the bus to Canada, and I'll put the kettle on. He's this... Dick, are you a Steel Hawks fan with that sort of quote there? Going to Swindon with one bus a week. That might turn up. Yeah, that'll be tremendous. Right, anyway, Tyneside really, we can play this game first. Both teams have got teams in, which is great. We're seeing much more going on. You can see here Andy Cole is out injured. Boomsong's resume training. Dyer's resuming training, but it's too late for those two to come on. Are you a Steel Hawks fan? Was the question there, because the Steel Hawks phrase there is time to put the kettle on, as Steve's reminding us. Yeah, are you a fan of Steel Hawks? Some people are. They're entertaining this season. Anyway, Tyneside, look at the fitness. They obviously hit by that no teaming for the cup and leaving the players on the pitch. Robert is absolutely worn out, but he's been having I was going to say a reasonable season. His cup game has certainly improved his form as we go through here. Taking a look at who else is in here. Colaccini's involved for the first time in a few games. He's back in with the injury to Titus Bramble. We can see that Owen has been recalled after we've had an injury up front as well to Mark Viduka and Andy Cole. They're both out, so we'll see how they get on today. And they're up against Really, who really go back to a formation that's a bit more familiar from last season for them, where they're playing Echiog and Ferdinand out wide, and to kind of tuck into centre-backs when the team are attacking. That method there. Steelhawks is the team in this league. Steelhawks Town, managed by David Kivasta. So have a little look and check them out when we reach them. In fact, if you see, there they are, Steelhawks. Lovely team. Okay. So yeah, up front, Van Nistelrooy and Hasselbank. Van Nistelrooy's season so far, only one goal, but not many appearances. We have a look in. David Dunn played last match and played well in the cup and scored a goal. And Patrick Vieira, of course, being Patrick Vieira, but 7.43 is a little bit lower than we might have expected for a Vieira. And we will get going. Please put your predictions in the chat and we'll see how this one gets on. Björn Hansen refereeing. And before we kick off, I'm going to have a little sip of coffee, because otherwise it will go cold. Let's go Ottawa fan, managed by Meister. Is he the manager there? I didn't realise he was over in Canada. Fantastic. Alf's going for a draw. I'm managing to almost put my microphone into the coffee. Big Kid going for 2-1 to Really. I noticed in the Canadian League there is, of course, York. So I have to be a fan of York in the Canadian League. Is it still 8 teams in the Canadian League? I do know John Sheffield, number 40 for Swindon Town in 1993-94. It was the largest Premier League squad number at the time. It was the record highest number for a couple of seasons. There's Dan Hazard. He's here tonight. Welcome. Your team is ready to kick off. Let's go for it. But of course, I think, commentary speed should be alright. And we kicked off, and you wouldn't think we had, but there we go. It's brought through to Shearer. And chances there, and then down the other end, Really came forward. Van Nistelrooy had chances. Some saves from Shay Given. His consistency might be very strange, but the old Ottawa team had Paul Dalglish and Bruce Grobbelaar and Julian de Guzman, the general manager. That sounds great. It sounds like a collection of cult figures. And Van Nistelrooy has scored for Really, making it 1-0 to them just around the half-hour mark. I've no idea what the Spurs game is at the moment. I mean, it could be about 17-6 by now. There's been so many goals, by the way, tonight. last time I saw it was 3-2, but I don't know what it is now. It's coming close to half time here, really doing just enough to keep themselves in front. Harman's having a great game. He'd gone up to a 9 temporarily, but as we are here at half time, he's back on an 8, and it's looking fairly even from the stats. But then when you actually look at, well, from the ratings, when you look at the stats, there is a bit of a difference and really are slightly up there. I'm going to go over to Tyneside in case Dan wants to make any changes now. Taking a look here, Jonathan Woodgate, he is just a bit tired. Robert, obviously, he started off at 88, but he's not lost too much. Shearer is, yeah, a lot of these players started off a bit lower on fitness, didn't they? So probably not too many concerns. Colaccini, though, potential thigh injuries, you know how that is. Woodgate has not put a single tackle in, and he really needs to do something about that. I mean, even Shearer's been trying, if not succeeding. Hamann, great half so far. Passing not been superb, but he's been very good in the tackling, and he's also won all his headers as well. And so David Ginola is going to come on for Laurent Robert in a change of the super Frenchman coming on for the also quite good but moody Frenchman. And that's a good change for them. For really, we have a Hasselbank on 71, but at this point we probably go through to 60 minutes, and I'm just going to check, of course. Big Shaka Hislop up front would be wonderful. I'm just going to check what's going on with the really sub plans for today. Where is Matt's things? He said he's got 3 subs planned for 60 minutes, so we will do them on 60 minutes. Okay, so the second half kicks off, and coming forward there, Hasselbank with a chance to score, trying to make it 2-0 down to Steve Bruce of Swemp. Yeah, so he writes amazing books, I've heard. That's what we want to focus on there, don't we? And coming close to the subs time, it was one of a rare chance for Tyneside. Van Nistelrooy then misses at the other end, and another miss for Van Nistelrooy, and the subs are on their way, trying to make it. It's a corner. It's a corner in there to really. Fife says he can't seem to log in. Can't seem to log in. I'll just see if there's anything that can be done there. The meeting is on. I'm screen sharing. I'll just see if I can send him my details while we're just looking at this. I'll just ask him to try again. There we are. If it works, then superb, we'll have him on. And anyway, so what we're going to do, Dan, have you made any sub choices here? Not saying you have a cabbage head. And we'll just check your conditions. Your conditions show that Woodgate is now on 81, and we've got quite a few players there lacking a little bit of fitness, but we know that that's just where we were before. Whatever have said that about any swim match? Abandoned subs plan. Owen into centre mid and play the rest. I read this now. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's definitely what it says, isn't it? It says put Owen in centre mid for Speedo. Oh, drop him off for Gary Speed. There we go. And then play the rest. There we go. And Matt is here as well. Dan, I think that's what you want me to do, isn't it? That's what you want me to do. And then we go to swap away for speed. Yeah, done that. Good. That sound, if you heard it there, is the arrival of a legend of the world. Good evening, Mr. Fife.
Good evening, how are you?
Very well, thank you. You are live on air. And also, that's how people live, isn't it? They live on air. But yeah, this game currently is. Can you see the screen? Is it all come on for you as it should have?
I can, yeah, but just give me 30 seconds.
Yes, of course, yeah. We'll go over to Matt's here tonight, Matt Lucas. So he's going to make his changes on stream. yeah, I think you probably. I mean, I've got the subs that you were going to make, Matt, and I'll line them up, and you tell me if you want any changes from that. But you had one of right clicking again, getting used to that one. So we had one of the strikers to come off, so Viduka will come on for Hasselbank. It's Cure for Scholes or Giggs. Scholes is on 82, and I'd assume, yeah, he's a bit less fit there. He is playing exactly the same, so I'll do those. Mr. Square is here. Good evening, Mr. Square. We've got Kewell and Bowyer for Dunn or Veron. And looking at those two, Dunn's on a 7, Veron's on a 7. I mean, this is probably where we would go for. Yeah, Matt, just give us a quick shout if you're happy with that. We shall see. But I think that's probably what I would have done with the instructions given there. To see it, I'll give him done. Is it just the one, or did you want all three to come on? Yeah, done. That was your suggestion there. Done. Yeah, good. Lovely. Right. So we shall go for that. There we are. So it's 1-0 so far. Oh, Mr. Fife has he's got a kimono on. He's wearing a kimono. He's got his hair in cornrows, and he's looking absolutely superb tonight there, Mr. Fife.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. I hope my voice holds up because I've been doing a lot of talking of late.
Yes, we've just been talking. Was it your 1 year for your podcast?
Yeah, so we just filmed our 1 year birthday episode. Normally our episodes are about an hour long, but that went on for just over an hour and a half. And obviously I did the Super League show last night as well, which I wasn't planning to do either. So I've been doing a lot of talking.
That saved a lot of people a lot of pain. So yeah, it was a great show last night. And let's get started with the rest of this game.
Let me just turn the notifications off because I always get hammered for this.
Oh, it's all fun. This is it's 2-0 and that guy scored. That left winger has scored, and he's just missed another chance as well. I assume that Dan Hazard rather than me about what I think of Eddie Howe. What do I think of Eddie Howe? In my opinion, though, is he quite good enough if this team are looking at signing some excellent players? Will they want to come and play for Eddie Howe? That's my question. It's 2-0, and it's 2-0 full time. Van Nistelrooy has had a superb performance there. Dan Hazard says he's actually quite happy, but many will say it's underwhelming. Yeah, I think it's underwhelming.
For what it's worth, I actually think that it's clever in their approach, because if you think back to when Man City were created in 2010. And they suddenly had lots of money. Yeah. So what they kind of made a mistake by very quickly thinking big name managers attract big name players, and it took them a while to get it right. You have to slowly build. So what Newcastle are doing is they're thinking, right, Eddie Howe is a young, fresh appointment that is not Steve Bruce, so that's the bonus. What he'll do is he'll get a couple of years. He should improve the team, and then they will get rid of him, and they will get the next step up from Eddie Howe, and then in say 5 years' time they'll ditch the next manager, and then they'll probably appoint whatever at that time represents a big name manager.
Yeah, looking at it that way, there is a possibility, isn't there, that could be a good deal for them. But it's just whether somebody such as say Felipe Coutinho or who's the other guys, Eden Hazard, would be wanting to come and play for Eddie Howe. And I think that's the kind of players they've been looking at.
As much as the papers will talk these things up, I don't think Haaland or Mbappe will be playing for Newcastle anytime soon.
No, just Messi, Ronaldo, and Ibrahimovic.
I believe they'll be looking more at the likes of Chowdhury at Leicester to begin with, players like that, and then they'll slowly work their way up to Fred or McTominay.
That's a very slow. Actually, McTominay's been playing pretty well. But
What I would say is, if you can, Dan, improve your misses from a 4 to a 6, then you're doing quite well.
yeah, it's a huge improvement, isn't
some of us
it?
couldn't even keep a misses, and we're working with a 0 at the moment.
I'm thinking, what, when the one person who always said that they wanted to be at Newcastle at some point, I'm pretty sure that was Mourinho, because of the Bobby Robson connection. Are they trying? Are they trying to get him?
No. He's only just gone in at Roma.
Yeah, that's it. I think he's. But then again, they did get smashed in the whatever competition we were in last week in the 6-1 by Bodo Glimt.
And also, why would you? Why is Chris Smalling still at Roma? Why wouldn't you turn down the opportunity to lose Chris Smalling and gain? I've lost
Fabian
it now. Lascelles is the one I was looking for.
John Sheridan is being shouted out here from Steve, and Alf hoping that he'll come back to Oldham for a 5th spell.
So this is an interesting one. If you had this discussion with 2 different people like myself and Alf, you will get 2 different stories. John Sheridan is the worst thing to happen to management since I was to marriage, but Oldham fans absolutely adore him.
And there's always some different opinions from different places. Ah, wonderful. We've had a nice little chat about different things tonight, and that is going well.
Anything of note that I've missed?
You've missed half a match, and you've seen the outcome there, and we're ready for game 2. We just talked about the new appointment as well at North Trafford of Mr. Haggis himself, Mr. Campbell. Has come into to North Trafford, so he'll be running the team from next game. And of course we have Chris Thacker as well in at Imagine Madrid tonight for the first time. So here we are for Asna. I know Mr. Square's around tonight, but the team wasn't submitted yesterday, so we filled in with Melchior suspension. The first available space was Reitziger, who wasn't in, and with Ibrahimovic out, we went all the way back up to the first available forward, and looking here at forward centre, Bakajolu was the first choice there, so he is in, and that's how the team looks for tonight for Asna's Ajax.
So, before I comment on the team, I have to say, and I know you won't like me saying it, I know I tend to leave mine quite late, but come on, guys, Dan puts a lot of work into Swemp. You only have to literally. He's not as demanding even as we are in the Super League, where we ask for content to be put out and we ask for this and we ask for that. Literally, you have to spend minimum 2 minutes a week picking a team. Get your fucking team in. It's not hard.
It isn't.
I mean,
it isn't,
now that I see it, now that I obviously see it from the other side, from your perspective, it irritates the shit out of me. When and we're very lucky that our managers do get their teams in. But even then, if I have to chase something where it's like you've asked for a player who's quite clearly injured, why? You very quickly lose your rag. Now, I'm not calling people out individually because everyone has their own shit going on, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But it's not hard. Just do it.
And
anyway,
and I know Mr. Square has been in touch with me today about things, and that was all good. I think it was kind of finding his way in the league. And not realising the kind of if you want to keep the team the same, at least let me know. That's the kind of thing. So at least we're sorted there, and we're ready for next week. He's definitely fully committed to the cause. So much so that I am going to allow him to make his own substitute tonight. So the team has been selected automatically, but he's making his own subs tonight. So let's push on to that.
Team,
yeah,
just briefly.
Yeah,
I spotted Edgar David's fitness is a slight concern. I probably wouldn't be, if I was picking the team, I wouldn't be risking him on 87.
Very true. Yeah.
Given we're on Division 1, it's not exactly littered with the biggest of name stars, but I like the theory behind it, because Ajax are obviously one of the biggest, most well-respected clubs in the world for what they've achieved over a long period. Everyone who's watched or listened or anything to any that I've done CM-wise knows that I'm a big fan of Kivu in defence. Mido is obviously another player I like, so he's on the bench, so maybe he'll get a run out later. I think he develops into a very good player. Super League Grand Final goal scorer as well, it must be said.
Yeah.
Just because, I have to get these references in at every opportunity. But yeah, I you know what? There's a lot of players there, although they're not littered with the obvious players that many of these Division One sides will have. There's a lot of players there who you would do a very good job with.
Yes, yeah, indeed. Even Andy van der Meijden's been playing pretty well so far this season. So even though his career went down the pan, he's looking pretty good here. Reitziger takes squad number 25, and we look at Loco Calaveras, who've been flying this season and actually getting Los Hughes some goals and points.
And again, it's another team with a theme which I like. I respect that. And looking back, even at my team in Division Two, there was a theory behind it, but I wish I'd actually picked a theme. And I've already said to you, depending on what the rules and stuff are for next year. I know me and Smuts have both already kind of gentleman handshake agreed on themes for our next Swemp teams because we think it'll be more interesting.
Sounds
but yeah,
good.
I mean, you look at the likes again. You've got the likes of Ronaldinho, Zé Roberto, Samuel, Aymar, Riquelme to an extent. These are the sorts of players you would expect teams in Division One to pick, but obviously Ronaldinho for me is the GOAT, not on the game, but in real life he's my favourite all-time player. And then you've got the players who, although they've got the stats to put them up there, like Jardel up front, he's not necessarily the go-to player, is he? So it's nice to see this sort of sprinkling of sort of not elite, but just the next tier down players still getting a run.
Yeah, Sebastian Mendes being another one of those, isn't he? And it's good to see within it that Carlos Gamera does get picked in that kind of squad, and usually you'd probably see Walter Samuel, Lucio, but maybe not Gamera starting so many games. He's doing well this season.
Exactly, yeah.
So, prediction for this one?
This is a tough one because I do quite like both teams. I think tactically it's similar. I think Aston's Ajax are maybe set up slightly more defensively, whereas Loco are perhaps more offensively minded. I'm going to say 2-2.
2-2. And let's get it going. And at the moment, it's been a quick start from Calaveras. They're coming close to scoring, and then Canu down the other end also with a chance. So, it's fairly balanced. Only a couple of players from Ajax. And there, we've had a goal and we've had an injury. Frank de Boer's coming off for Aston's Ajax. They're 1-0 down at the same time. A double blow at that point. And as Mr. Square is in, as he's spoken to me, he can make his choice of sub, but I think Marcio Santos or Aaron Winter with Yakubu moving back into defence, they're the only real choices here. It's a very attacking lineup. So
yeah, no, I think Santos is the obvious one for me there. However, you are right. Given that they are already a goal down, you may look at the Yakubu option just to throw in an extra attacking intent.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Winter looks put Winter in the middle. As a defence, he can go into defence. Yeah, he's going to go and play in defence. I probably wouldn't have played in there myself, but why not? He does look pretty good still. And
I'm thinking actually about it. I was looking at it thinking maybe Reisiger could move over to the right because the centre one's got the forward arrow. You could again look to have a more attack-minded player in that position.
Yeah, he's going to go and Aaron Winter going to go and play in centre defence, but with a little run forward. And the goal was scored by Jardel. So pushing on with this one, 20 minutes into the match now, and at the moment it seems like Calaveras are only going to increase this lead, but you never know. There's been plenty of goals in the Ajax team this season. I am just wondering how many we're going to get. You said 2-2. We're I've got the one goal so far, but it looks like it's going to be more. And there he is, Bakadjolu, stepping into the team and scoring the equaliser. So
this is why you're considered one of the most elite managers of the game for these sorts of tactical decisions.
for when things go a bit wrong. I've just seen that the Spurs game. Spurs are down to 10 men. I don't know how long that's been for, but yeah, Romero. Yeah, it was 3-0 within half an hour, 3-2 by half time, and Romero sent off. So we'll go to Asna first because obviously Mr. Square is here. Davies has only lost 4%. Bergkamp is down to 85, but he started at 94. He's got a potential foot injury though, so if there's any changes there, just let us know. What do you think you would do?
Um, it's a tough one. I mean, again, but just because my liking for him, I would be looking at maybe bringing Mido on. But there are more obvious subs there. Obviously, Van der Vaart and Seedorf are the ones that you would look at to change a game in your favour. And even to an extent, Lippmann. I mean, of the 4 attacking options there, Mido's probably 4th choice to come on. So maybe
it's
we
quite
won't.
possible, isn't it? He's gone for no changes. Actually, no, Lippmann is going to come on for Dennis Bergkamp. If I could do the right team, that would really help me. So he said no changes and then decided, actually, let's preserve. I don't know what's happened there. That's just changing players around for no reason. There we are. Bergkamp and Lippmann. There we go. There we are. And for Calaveras, they'll be making no half-time changes. They never do, really. But it's been a decent half.
It has. I think your summary of the half was right. They looked like they were going to extend their lead prior to Ajax's equaliser. I think, for me personally, you maybe be looking at bringing Veron on if you were to make any subs, but equally, you look at the ratings of the players he would most likely come on for and think who. De Nielsen would probably be the obvious one, not having the impact that maybe Veron would have in that position. But no, they'd be quite content with how it's going thus far.
Yeah, I think so. And sub plans, Veron is due to come on in a little bit of time, so we'll get on with this and see how we go. But I should put it to both teams to have a look at both stats. Oh, we've got a yellow card there for Simeone. And Asner. Oh, Van der Meijden with a chance. Look at this. It's yeah, the Simeone one's a big surprise, really, isn't it? That was a. So we go to 60 minutes. Here we are. We've still got a few sixes. Overmars, Reitziger, and the 2 subs who've come on. Fitness-wise, things are still kind of okay. Is there going to be a 3rd change for Asner? I mean, Overmars and Van der Vaart maybe, but you know, it's hard to tell.
I mean, potentially, if he's concerned about condition, it would be Van der Vaart for Davids. But other than that, I can't see much else changing. Your 2 front men have scored and got decent ratings between them. So, but he's bringing on Mido specifically for me because there'll be no other reason to bring Mido on.
Mido for Canu.
Thank you very much.
He's had 1 sub appearance, and obviously it was a short cameo, is how I describe things. And so the subs for Loco is these been pre-arranged changes, aren't they? So we've got Jardel coming off for Ronaldo, and Veron coming on for Aymar, and then Aymar to. So this is Riquelme to the right. And there we are. Yeah, that's what's going to happen for them.
Yeah, I think those changes make sense. Maybe it's a bit harsh on Jardel, but then it is pre-arranged, so you don't know it's going to be harsh at the time.
Yeah,
but yeah, the Veron sub makes sense.
I quite like the Falaraki way of doing things. Usually is bring them on for these if they haven't scored. It kind of works quite well there. It's we have half an hour to go. Very finely poised. Ball coming from Veron with a chance. Not doing a bad job since he's come onto the pitch. Looking like he's pulling the strings. His name keeps popping up there. More
it's
chances.
all the home side.
Yeah, it was. And then it almost looked like a quick. Oh, there's Mido! There is Mido. It's 2-1.
Mido.
Well, I can't believe it. He's turned this one around.
He'll be starting next week.
Or dropped, saying that's the best you'll ever get. 2-1 it is. Bakajolu and Mido with the goals.
And Gary Littman getting man of the match as well. The manager's had an absolute blinder.
Brilliant substitutions going on there. Absolutely superb for them. Very unlucky for Loco Calaveras. And, for them to lose, it takes a decent performance. And that's certainly what we got there. Turned that game around in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at them stats there, and you're thinking a draw was probably fair. It's fairly level, if you look at the shots and stuff. But I'm a big believer that if the away side manages more attempts on goal and more on target, even if it is close like these margins are, they deserve to win because the home side should be dominating.
Yeah, with the
Um,
crowd
so yeah,
behind them and everything.
from my own perspective, it's lovely to see Mido score, and I can see Arsenal Square celebrating in the chat as well. Um, so credit to them, but yeah, I don't think Loco will be too disheartened. I mean, like you said, they've had a very good start to the campaign. I think maybe they would be hoping for a little bit more, but I think they'll be okay. That I don't think that it's going to be too much of an issue losing to this Ajax squad.
No, definite top half team, and the fact that the Ajax side could get themselves into that top half themselves. 17 offsides to 1. What a big difference that was. I don't think I've seen such disparity in a game that was only 1 goal between them. Davids has played very well. The assists there, Kanu and Litmanen with the assists. So very solid performance. Reitziger putting in plenty of tackles. Vinter looking fairly accomplished at centre back. And then for Calaveras, Simeone and Walter Samuel again being heavy on the tackles and doing a decent job. But yeah, Simeone, decent amount of tackles, decent amount of headers won, but the team lost, and Jardel can at least be happy that he got a goal.
And I think you were right in what you were saying during the commentary. It looked like the run started quite quickly, but after sort of 65 minutes or so, it kind of petered out for him.
Yeah, he only had 3 or 4 minutes of it, didn't he? That's probably what he managed, and then not much else happened. We'll pick up a little bit of pace now and get into Game 3, and Ross was certainly here earlier on. We'll stick around the same sub-plans if he doesn't pop back in. Just let us know if you're still here, Ross. It's Dalgety Rangers versus North Trafford, and Dalgety today bringing a debut for the season. This is match number 8 in the league, and Patrick Vieira is getting his first appearance in the 18.
I mean, that's obviously quite surprising, to be fair. Most people would have him as an automatic starter. Interesting that Elbert gets the nod ahead of someone like Crespo, as well, to be fair. And but yeah, this is one of those teams where it's all the big guns. No matter what 11 you put out, it's going to be good, isn't it?
Yeah, and just those goal scoring tallies there. Van Nistelrooy with 10 and Nicky Franco with 7 this season already. Elbert playing very well, and players like Emerson's got 4 goals already. Totti hasn't scored, and that's why he's probably been taken out of the lineup at this point. And so it's looking very strong, and they're up against North Trafford, who for today are being unchanged and will not be making any changes unless Mr. Campbell is around, because it's sort of officially in from tomorrow. So they have a few fitness troubles here. We've got Torandre Flo down there on 88%, but the team have been playing fairly well and achieved exactly what Daji was looking at doing while he was here, of being on 7th place.
And again, I think it's kind of their strongest team as well. Just looking at the options, the only obvious one maybe is Solskjaer, but I don't think the tactic being played suits him so much. So I think Flo, if you're playing a general save, obviously at Rangers or whatever, he proved to be a very good striker, very capable striker. So I think there is goals there, but I'm looking at this and thinking Rangers are going to win.
And a contract will be offered here to Eric Muckland before the game. He wants to be an important first-team player, so Muckland is offered that there. Lovely. Okay, so a win for Dalgety Rangers. Terje Pettersson refereeing this one, and we'll see how it gets on. A quick start in Dalgety, almost getting a goal within the first few minutes there. It's gone quiet again, but you can't see anything from Norsk.
I like the stadium name here, Concede First Goal, First Shot Arena.
Oh, was that an offside goal? One ruled out
There
there.
was.
Alf going for 4-0 is it's not, it wasn't a bad shout before kick-off, but the Jers are just failing to get their shots on target at the moment, and I think
Yeah, they started quite well, but they've quietened down.
yeah, they're quieting down, and they've been to about 2 chances there for Trafford, and certainly, this game is much more even than it might have suggested earlier on. Van Nistelrooy with a chance, but they're still not getting in things there. Anderson's put one off target, and another one going for an offside. Hose at Carew. Oh, some saves there from Frey, and goalkeepers are on top in the first half. And it was actually it's been pretty entertaining. Van Nistelrooy nearly scores. One more chance before half time, maybe. Oh, well, action-packed 0-0.
Yeah, as 0-0's go, that was an enjoyable watch. I think Norsk are exploiting the fact that Jers don't have any defensive midfield cover. So if they can break that sort of that trap, then they've got space to work with and to move around in. But equally, Jers have a lot of attacking intent, and the names you saw, you were expecting something to happen, but then you look at the ratings. Van Nistelrooy not really pulling up any trees, nor Elber would suggest that the midfield are just struggling to create for them, really.
Yeah, I think that this one is it's very well poised, isn't it, for a game where the two teams were expected to be a little bit apart from each other. Yeah, Van Nistelrooy certainly doing it. He's been having a decent attempt. I don't think he's worth a 6. I think he's probably worth a 7 so far. He's looked lively. Nicky Franco's been a little bit quieter than we might have thought. Looking over at Trafford, and they've not been flying in with tackles, so this is probably suggesting why it is a very open match.
Yeah, I'd completely agree with that assessment. To be fair, but again, you're looking at what constitutes big names for this North Trafford side. You'd look at it and think Risa needs to be offering a lot more, particularly in attacking intent. Again, I mentioned Flo beforehand. Now, you could argue that if the likes of Risa aren't throwing the crosses in, they're not utilising them to their best, but he should be good enough and getting more involved than he is. So they definitely need to up the work rate, I would say, the away side, if they're going to hang on to this point.
Yes, some good questions there from Dickon as well. Why is Van Nistelrooy on 2 teams? Am I missing something? Last season he was on 8. I think there were lots of Sigalcos. I mean, do we have a Sigalco this season? I'm not even sure if he's in the league. But yeah, people could choose absolutely anyone they want, and I've created clones to allow people to do that. You've been on Swemp commentary a few times. You've been around and had a look, but yeah, people can pick exactly who they want. So you sometimes see players up against themselves, and it does make it interesting. Like when Roy Keane fouled himself in the first season. That was a
What
good
would
one.
be interesting to know, though, Dan, is would you accept someone putting in a team of, say, Patrick Vieira's and saying, yeah, I'll just have 23 Patrick Vieira?
No, I wouldn't be accepting the same play. It was quite a bit of work. I think I edited 75,000 to 80,000 pieces of data in the first season, and then for the second season there was about 25,000-30,000 things to do. So it was all right. It got done. It's been entertaining. Second half underway.
That level of dedication and work, which is why you're A, so elite at what you do, and B, so loved by the community for what you do.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Nicky Forenko has scored. Maybe that was a good Nicky Forenko clone. All the clones should be, of course, very similar, but any zeros and things make it quite random at this point. And we had a really strange Roy Keane last season that was nothing like he should have been, even though he's
Was that
absolutely
Ryan
spot on in the
Boyd,
editor.
who was an attacking midfielder?
What was that?
Is that the Roy Keane that Ryan had at?
He looked like an attacking
team.
player, didn't he?
Yeah, he was an attacking player.
But he except he had 9 for finishing. So, quite a strange one. Mike's here as well, the new Leddersford assistant manager, as he was announced yesterday.
Oh, is that officially announced now, is it?
What's that?
Is that officially announced that he's the new Leddersford assistant?
Yeah, I put it out. I just made sure the comment was there during the chat yesterday on the show. Yeah, he's been brought in as assistant manager, and already been talking a few tactics and things and.
And you're already arguing and regretting the decision.
Oh, never, not Mr. Savage. Not Mr. Savage. Yes, so the subs at this point, we have any 6s at this point, they would come off. So Zauri's going to be brought off and looking for a right-sided solution. Okoronkwo is the only one, isn't he?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yep, so they do 5s at half-time and 6s at 60 minutes. And for Trafford, no subs. So let's push on. Whoa! The commentary's going fast because of last time. It's 2-0 and Elbear has scored. It's because of the cup game when the games were just played through at speed, and Riquelme makes it 3-0. Mike knows who's boss.
Well, just going to take the opportunity to again extend the olive branch out to Mr. Savage. A few weeks back, I invited him to do co-coms with me sometime if he fancied it. So if he ever wants that bit of media exposure, then just slide into my DMs, sir, and we'll get you on one show.
Yes, I've tried to get him back onto here as well. He's a bit of a shy man when it comes to the commentary. He doesn't think he's very good, but he was great. So
but between me and you, we'll certainly coax that out of him. I mean, Mr. Smuts claimed he was shy.
And there he's been on 200 shows since, and I think he's done. I think he did. What did he do? 300 hours of streaming 1 week.
Yeah, something like
that. Very, very comfortable victory in the end. Once created a World League by editing the Premier League. Yep, I remember seeing you've done a World League, Alf, at one point. One of my interesting bits of editing that I've done before was to basically turn the English pyramid upside down and a little bit more by making the Premier League full of teams like Selby and Garforth and strange teams like that, and having Liverpool, United, all those kind of teams sitting around in beyond the conference, so it took a long time for any teams like that to get through again.
Looking at the stats, I think Norske have been fairly unfortunate. Going back to what I said in the early one, as the away side, they created almost the same amount of shots. They had almost the same amount on target. Jers have just been more efficient. I say efficient is probably the wrong word because they've only had 50% of their shots actually on target. But to convert 3 out of 5 of those, it is efficiency on their part. So yeah, it's more the forward line for Norse more than a defensive issue, I would suggest.
Yeah, and if we take a look at that, the forward line didn't really get many shots in, and defensively, Jonsson and Berg certainly did their bit, didn't they?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you see Flo's rating never improved, Caru's dropped, even Mikland, who obviously isn't one of the main attacking threats, but he certainly hasn't contributed that much to try and improve the result.
And that's one of the best heading displays that I think I've seen for a long time. Trond Andersen winning 11 headers.
Superb on his part.
Yeah, Walter Samuel tried his best and won 9, but Nestor and Samuel playing well in defence. I'm very, very puzzled as to why he only got a 7 there, Nestor. But I think that's the standard. Nestor always seems to end up on lower ratings than he should do, as I've noticed that many times. No assist for Nikiforenko, but a goal, and no assist or goal for Van Nistelrooy. I think that's the first time this season.
These are the sorts of players who, the more these style of games come out, you recognise that, Van Nistelrooy isn't going to do it every game like he might do on a home save. The same with Nikiforenko to an extent. But they're still pulling in decent numbers.
Very, very decent numbers.
They're still contributed to what appears, if you focus only on the big numbers at the top, looks a comprehensive victory. and they're still in a team that's playing very well.
Absolutely. And we'll move on to Allenson versus Roundhay. The Allenson side, who are bottom of the table and the only team who needed to go to extra time to beat non-league opposition in the cup last time. 99th minute winner.
Record, wasn't it?
But they've kept the same tactics but changed the players in the lineup for today.
Okay. It's interesting. I think, and I'm sure you'll correct me because I'll be honest, I'm not as clued into Division 1 as I am to Division 2 for obvious reasons. But what's interesting is clearly this isn't as strong a team as everyone else has, hence their position.
It is the weakest team in the division. It is, and but it's only, it's not too far behind some of the things, but they are still strong enough to be in this division as opposed to being in Division 2.
But what the point I was going to make is what's happened here is, and what a lot of people do when they either have or are perceived to have a weaker team is they will try and flood that central area. So, the option is there. So he's gone for the 3 centre backs, 2 holding midfielders. And I think if it wasn't for the players at his availability, either the 2 wingers, well, because of your ruling of wide players, that's the only reason why there's 1 centre mid. There would be an argument for D'Alessandro to be pulled back and have a flat 4, but then that would leave Del Piero very isolated. So
yes.
I think this is quite a sort of standardised way of teams perceived to struggle to try and nullify the opposition.
It's it's a good way of making sure that they've got they can't play. I suppose nobody's going to want to play 3 at the back and then 5 across the defensive mids, I suppose.
I'm sure Swan did that earlier this year. I'm sure I tried it.
5 sweepers and 5 sweepers and 5 across the defensive line, and then with your old Flamingos, a very defensive formation. But you still had a forward. So the team of A's and J's, the team of Alex's and Jacobs, named after Big Noopy's sons. So that's what his team is all about here, and of course the Allen son is what they're all about. So looking forward to these. Tato is here. Yes, it is Fifey again, and that's what's so good about the world, that Fifey is doing plenty of content. That's what we like.
Fifey is literally prostituting himself to anywhere that will have him.
I'm not paying. Round A.
This one's on the house.
So obviously Nuno earlier this season was sent off in spectacular style for being somewhere out of his area and headbutting Ronaldinho. Alf asked a question about what's the highest number of passes by a player in Swemp. I'm pretty sure in the last week we've seen a player reach about 89 or 90 completed passes. Nobody's gone over 100 like we see on certain things. But about 90 is probably the maximum so far.
It's a hell of an effort, to be fair.
Yeah, there were 3 players in the team. I can't remember which team it is, but there were 3 players in one team who all got well over 70 passes last time out. I've got a feeling at one point that it might well be Boston that have had a high number at one point.
Well, that's because they just passed the ball along their defensive line to frustrate the hell out of people.
Obviously Nuno as well. The thing about Nuno is he wouldn't fit in this team anymore with the theme.
No,
current managers, and obviously he's not a manager now, so he'd have lost his place. But no, keeping it. I mean, is Harry Kewell still in charge? Did he get sacked as well? I can't remember.
He's been sacked.
Yeah, so I mean, but of course, this team, that's exactly what happens to people over time, don't they? They end up going on their merry way. It's a shame there's no Steve Bruce in here. Anyway, decent side, and we'll look forward to seeing this one. What's your prediction for this one?
Contrary to the last couple, I think this might be a low-scoring affair. I think Roundhay have the better quality players, but again, they don't exactly follow the general consensus of what Division 1 does, and where everyone's picked sort of the same players. So I'm going to say 1-1.
1-1. And this will be a decent one here. Big Kid's going 1-0 round Hay. Jim saying if it was down to current managers, he would have no players left. So we'll see.
Solskjaer would still be there somehow.
What's that?
Solskjaer would still be in the squad
Solskjaer will
somehow.
be in for years, won't he? In this team. This what we got. Dudley Hill's colours, of course. And there's Conticchio getting his first goal for the team. So Allenson go 1-0 up. And that is a little bit of a surprise, I've got to say.
Yeah,
2-1 Alison Tato says it's 2-0. And Jakob Glerup Nielsen has made it 2-0. Wow. Half an hour into this one, Crespo's hit the crossbar for Roundhay. Neil Lennon, 117 completed passes. I think I've seen someone complete 140 on a screenshot or something, but I've certainly not had that myself. What have we got now? We've got chances coming in, and Allenson looking fairly comfortable at this point. Can they make it? I've almost hit the post though.
It's been very impressive by Allenson so far.
Yeah, I definitely say so. And we're almost here at half time. More chances coming in. 2-0. Look at those ratings. They've never had something so high. They don't know what a 9 is usually. So that's to see. There's 2 of them and 2 5s. Oh, 9-5. Yeah, it's a Dolly Parton game, isn't it? And very
good
dominant.
that on your part. That was very quick. Well done.
Dominant from Allenson.
Yeah. Again, though, we're seeing the same issue where Roundhay that they created almost the same amount of chances, but only one on target. A lot of teams are struggling for that ruthlessness, that efficiency, in the attacking areas to really be a threat because, yes, they've conceded 7 opportunities, which isn't great, and 6 of them have been on target. So Allenson have been superb in front of goals. You're looking at Roundhay and thinking, okay, defensively you're not putting in the best shift, but attackingly you're being very wasteful.
Yeah, when we come to look at them, we might well see that's the situation. Allenson, take a look at how they're getting on so far. They're, the main shots, the shots are coming from midfield, definitely, aren't they, for them at the moment?
Yeah, but when again you consider the configuration of the team and how they line up, that doesn't surprise because they've got one striker who's playing with one real supply chain behind him, whereas that midfield unit will be working in tandem to create the chances for each other.
Tandem, that's what we all need to get a tandem and go for a little ride in a lovely tandem. I've never ridden a tandem before. Look at that. Crespo, 3 passes.
3?
3 completed passes from Crespo in the first half.
That's it. That's poor, really, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Jim, sort it out. I should have gone to Jim first, obviously, look at the stats, because he's here. And Big New P has had to send in some instructions for subs. He wasn't sure he'd make it tonight, and I haven't seen him at this point. He's waiting to 60 minutes for changes. Bowyer and Luis Enrique could certainly do with turning their games around a little bit, but yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of average to low average ratings there, and that'll be a slight frustration for Roundhay. And again, you look at it and you look at these players and think, do I need to change the defensive setup to stop conceding chances, or do I need to change the attacking setup
and start to create? Yeah, Mike Duff, no tackles out of 4, but Gareth Southgate's doing a great job in defence. He's certainly keeping this down a bit. And Jim, wait till 60, please. Although this is garbage.
We had a few of those comments last night as well.
We did get some, didn't we? And not from Leddersford though, for a change, so that was good. They entertained for once.
You did.
And where are we here? We got a chance round here looking. Oh, Crespo's missed a glorious chance, and the subs are on their way. Big Kid, I'd change midfield if it were me. Big Kid, if it were you, the formation would be bizarrely brilliant. That's all I can say about that. Luis Enrique still on 5. The dishwasher's finished, everyone. Way. Get into that. Harry Kewell on 84. It is a potential knee injury. Lee Bowyer on 82. That is a potential foot injury. Oh, look at this. Allenson on the march. He is here to make his own subs. Not enough goalkeepers on the pitch. Imagine that. Sebastian Frey midfield's what you need at this point.
Well, it's not like it hasn't been done before.
Scally on 180 passes. Wow. No, it has been. It's been done in style there, isn't it? Big Kid is a formation genius. Well, he is very, very good with his formations. He makes Mike Savage look um, like he doesn't experiment, and he certainly does. We just have wait. Yeah, Ole for Enrique.
I would be tempted to move him up into an AM position as well, personally.
Yeah, I mean that's potential, isn't it? Yeah, I think that there's a few choices. I'm going to move over to the opposition. I'm going to make that change, and then we'll move over to Allenson and see if Big Nippy wants to make any changes. Everyone rating-wise is doing absolutely fine. I won't have it said I don't experiment. You certainly do. Govanek's going to come on for Bowyer as well for Jim in a second. But I'll just have a look here. Del Piero, a thigh injury. A thigh injury there for them. And anything else? D'Alessandro, a foot injury. Conticchio, no stamina. 6 for stamina. That's why he's so tired at this point. And I think
basically not good on me.
6 for stamina. Alves for Del Piero. It's going to happen there.
I wouldn't be doing that,
Sorry, what was that?
so I wouldn't be doing that personally.
Del Piero's very tired.
But he's one of the few sort of star attacking names.
Del Piero isn't actually a striker on this. I think he's got 15 for attack, or maybe even less. He is definitely an attacking mid, or even centre mid.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think he's more centre mid than he is forward. Yeah,
which is an absolute outrage.
He never really played properly up front, did he? He always had a proper striker around with him. So Jacobo is coming on for. No, he didn't really play centre mid, right? For who's he coming on for? Let's just read. I could just read it. D'Alessandro. There we are. I will flick it over to the opponents again, just to make that change there of Govanek for Bowyer. Regretting these changes already. Lovely stuff. So let's push on with the rest of the game. He went to 64 minutes at that point for this, and will we see some more goals? Oh, Alex Alves should have scored, and he didn't. I realised we've still got Crespo has made it 2-1, and Viachkovsky was out of position. I realised we've got 3 matches to go, and we're at 10 past 10. Del Piero played wherever he felt like. That's why he should be in your team, and Big Kid should be playing wherever he wants. Free roll from right side of defensive mid or something. Love the experiments. 2-1, they hold on for the victory. And Jakob Glerup Nilsson, man of the match, and Roundheads tried their best, but their players couldn't be bothered shooting on target.
I thought at the end Roundhead might have nicked a point, but again, the story continued from what we said in the first half. They just weren't very good in front of goal was the main issue.
Yes, wasteful. Looking at that, Crespo and Shevchenko hitting 2 out of 7 on target between them. A first win of the season it is there. Yes, a first win of the season. Southgate certainly did everything he could. Crespo, I don't know how Crespo ended up on an 8. I know he scored a goal, but I mean Crespo and Shevchenko were poor. Some key passes maybe have done it for them. And very, very solid win for Allenson.
Yeah, and a very important win for Allenson as well, as we alluded to. In their position, every point is priceless. So to get 3 of them in one game is a huge effort.
A huge effort and a huge win that I think moves them off the bottom of the table. Steelhawks, we are waiting on Steelhawks just in case David comes back. So we'll go to Trumpton versus Imaginary Madrid, and Trumpton, while Big Kid is definitely here. Let's have a look at how they line up today.
I mean, this is one of the things I do appreciate about the Swemp is the managers who will go batshit crazy with either formations or arrows.
Or
The
both.
formation isn't that extreme, but the arrows does if you were to rate this tactic at a solid sort of 6 out of 10, the arrows make it an 8 just because they are a bit sort of what the hell's going on.
Ryan is here. Ryan, welcome Ryan to joining us for a Swemp show. Yep, your co-chairman is of course alongside me. Well, not literally, but he's here with me tonight, and it's going superbly well. There's been plenty of goals, plenty of entertainment, and a shock win in the last game. So yeah,
And
for Trump to
we're
Zidane.
94 fatigued as well.
Zidane playing in quite a lot of different roles this season, and it's actually working out better for him not to be playing in his more natural attacking mid role. He is doing well there. Ryan, the new Swemp assistant manager. What assistant manager of the whole league? But yeah, thanks Ryan. Thanks, I could do that. Yeah, great to have you on board. Let's have a little look at the Imaginary Madrid team, and Chris has sent in this team. I think, offered the contracts, not to everyone actually, so I'll do those. Cafe wants to be indispensable, so he will get that. And they're not playing the left back, right back, and sweeper anymore now under the new management.
No, but they're kind of that's where they're ending up. So it's not too dissimilar in that sense, I suppose. I quite like the look of the front three, if I'm honest. I'll be interested to see how it works. There seems to be though a lot of open space. I mean, Robin and Totti aren't going to be helping out too much defensively. And when the centre backs in inverted commas start making their run out wide, that's going to give Mendieta a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he is certainly going to be left alone, isn't he? Yeah, John Terry will be stood there at the back, and Mendieta will be left extremely, extremely isolated. Yeah, massive point there. Who are you going for today? Are you going for the formation or the new boy?
Well, I mean, any team that's rocking the likes of Emil and Penza should really be backing, I suppose. I'd like to see Madrid get something, so I'm going to say 2-2.
2-2, and let's crack on with the show. It's already starting off well, Trumpton. This could be any result. I like that. I think it's nice to know that we're not on for a predictable match. Certainly, Roy Keane on a yellow card, so some things are predictable at least. Arellano seems to be playing fairly well for Trumpton at the moment. Over the course of this season, it's interesting to see how he's been getting on. We're just over halfway through the half, and there's Penza scoring there. You did call him out before the game and said that they should win because they've got him, or at least you should be rooting for him. And there's Arellano making it 2-0. Comfortable. And at this point, three it is, and Zidane scoring as well. And Kesman making it 3-1. What a great half. Is that Conticchio, the regular signing of yours, Ryan? Does he have better stamina than 6 usually? Because I couldn't sign a player like that. It's just one of those things. It's one of those weird things for me. I don't like signing players with less than 13 stamina or something like that. In fact, I don't even like Pires at 13.
Stamina, to be fair, is never one that I really look at. I know it's there, but it's not one that I generally consider.
I can't do it. I can't look at you see how Paul Gascoigne needs subbing at half time every time. Whenever you watch these things, and I can't deal with it. It just gets me. So anyway, we've got just 20 minutes behind, but only missing one game because we've been very slow tonight. So what we got? Keane off.
I do apologise if you delayed pick-up at all, but just waiting for me as well. You didn't have to.
I did talk a little bit through things, but it was nice to talk to people. There we are, Seedorf and Parler to switch over. There we are, just to check any other bits of fitness here. Petkov, the legend that is, he's only dropped 7% so far, so he's not doing so badly. And for Imaginary Madrid, this is if Totti's down in the 70s. He isn't, but is he injured? Nope, so we just leave that as they are, and let's get into the second half. 3-1, what a great half of action that was anyway. It's still incredibly hard to read the Imaginary Madrid font at times, but Alan Smith has scored, and I think Totti played him in there. It's 3-2. This is looking like a great game. Petkov takes a yellow card, and 60 minutes has arrived, and 3-3. I think. Was that Robin? Was that Robin with the goal? 3-3. That is an incredible turnaround from a comfortable 3-0 lead to...
What happens when two batshit crazy formations go up against each other?
Zidane on 85. He has a potential shin injury at this point, so I'll just pop on to...
He has a not living up to his potential injury as well.
I will just have to pop off for a second, so I will let you just talk through this. I will be back very, very soon.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for saying I'm worth the wait. Believe me, I'm not. But I do my best, and I will fill in now for however long needs filling in for. Looking at the Trumpton side again, when we talk about the tactics and how people will do things a bit more eccentrically in this league, I'm a big fan. Looking at the subs bench, I mean, they've already scored goals, so Crespo's the obvious answer to try and change it, but this team's already scored a couple of goals in this game. That's not the problem. You need to look defensively at how to tighten it up. Just reading through the comments coming through on the chat as well, Tato, honestly, so many of my players over the years must have had potential injuries because I never checked that. It's true. Dan goes to a level of depth that I wouldn't tend to go to, that I never notice this kind of thing. I look at the condition, but I never look at the potential injuries. Big Kid's going to be making a sub, Petkov off, Zidane off as well. Swempy loves it, but I just don't bother.
What's this? Never seems to result in more injuries. This subbing players for potential injuries, yes. Petkov off for Heinrich. Oh, right clicking. I should need to get my positions right. Petkov off for Heinrich. Zidane off for Zanoni. Swap Parlour and Zanoni. That's done there, is it? Yep.
No, because he didn't move.
Did he not move? No, he didn't. You're right. Was there an arrow there or not? Did I put a right arrow on?
No, I think you put the arrow on by accident.
There we are. Good. That makes more sense. Sorted. And that's right there. If it's not right, just let me know. Imaginary Madrid. We go into these things. Thank you very much for holding the fort, by the way, at that point.
It definitely wasn't my finest work, but I gave it my best.
What, being thrown in? Anyone on a 6 or injured? There's an Elka coming off. Let's check the fitness first on the rest of them. Totti's in the 70s now, but he's not on a 6, and it was only half time if he's on that. So Anelka will come off, and Fowler played last game, so he will come on. Mendieta as a midfield 6 will come off, and he can come off for Smirtine. And looking at the other bits here, yeah, I think we might as well do that. Yeah.
Well, unless actually, before you confirm, who's got the better fitness? Because you could always do Cole for Barry.
Can I undo that one? Yeah, we could do.
Terry's slightly fitter, so you might do Cole for Barry instead.
We'll do that. Barry played last game. Let's go. On with the show.
Nice how many subs are actually made. It keeps it fresh, doesn't it? That a lot of teams will use their full complement of subs.
Yeah, some only want two making, and some don't specify. So it's nice to see, but of course it runs the risk of losing a goalkeeper. Obviously, apologies for the delays there in getting back on with the game, but will we get a fourth goal for either team, or have I killed it with the delay? Which obviously doesn't happen. But oh, there it is! It's Penza with a fourth goal for Trumpton late on, and
That is an absolute sickener for Madrid. Absolute sickener. After what they've been through all game, for that to happen, sickener.
there we are. Look at that. Trumpton winning by one goal. Obviously having slightly more chances during the game, but not necessarily looking like great victors.
No, it's very interesting to watch. You know, these. Yes, they've edged it. They've created more and they've had more on target. But ultimately, if you would see them stats without seeing the score, you wouldn't automatically assume 4-3.
No, I don't think so.
I'm expecting both keepers to have shocking. I mean, the fact that Butt's got a 6, I was expecting five best case for both goalkeepers.
Big Kid must be extremely relieved with this one, but yeah, it's been entertaining, hugely entertaining. Every single outfield player for the team has ended up on 7s and above, so the positions have kind of worked. Carragher, 2 tackles. Kaladze, 2 attempted, none won. Beckham didn't attempt to tackle in 90 minutes. Yeah, some strange statistics about them, but Fifey would like some more Super League screenshots later on. Of shots of the Super League logo. I think that's what he means. He's seen some plays in Swemp that he wants to have a look at.
I mean, ultimately, Tato, that's fine. I did promise everyone I would do the packs tonight. I'm not promising to send you any screenshots because, as I've alluded to 2 or 3 times, I'm feeling very fatigued already, having done Super League Sunday, podcast Monday, Super League Wednesday, podcast Thursday, Swemp Thursday.
I like it that Ryan would like everyone to stop mithering. Lee, yes, Lee, you need to stop mithering him. Lee, that was great when.
I'm just hoping again. I didn't know. I don't know if he heard the question or if I missed his answer, but I'm just hoping Ryan's feeling a bit better today.
Oh, me too, actually. Yeah. He's obviously with him being here. That's a good sign for it that he's not died. So it's really good to see Ryan around today.
The fact that Ryan isn't dead is my positive for today.
Yeah, we can all take some great stuff from that. Look at the concurrent viewers. It says 10 on here. I have absolutely no idea how many viewers there were because there were 5 or 6 people on the chat earlier and it said I had no viewers. So that was great. Everyone was just chatting but not watching.
At the end of the day, neither you nor me do these things for the viewers. We do it for A, our own enjoyment of what we do, and B, for the few people that we know are turning up regardless.
If I was not doing this, I'd be probably running my own 16-team league like I do anyway. No, take 10 to 15 minutes off.
Just to give you an idea, on the birthday episode of the podcast I recorded tonight, we have a regular who comes on as like an external fan. He's a Colchester fan, really nice lad. And he came on for the birthday episode and sat there for the full hour and a half of a Swindon Town podcast. And you know, that's the sort of respect. It's the same for the guys that do this. You know, we're sitting here essentially, me and you are chatting away about a 20-year-old game. They're sitting there watching you play a 20-year-old game.
Some with an interest in it and like with an actual like, you know, a team, and others who don't have a team who still come along, and that's great to see. That I really appreciate every single person who comes to watch these things. Certainly, Big Kid is on his way. 5 a.m. start. Well, good luck for you tomorrow. Ryan's still coughing his guts up, but he's had some wine. Well, that's good. And Fifey will be at the gym after this. Says Big Noopy.
Fifey will not be at the gym tonight. Fifey doesn't do gym on Thursday.
Fifey talks in third person. And we've got Alf. This is a decent lineup. Finally, it's unchanged from the cup game last time, but Rob Douglas is still in goal.
So again, sorry. Again, I have to apologise that I'm not as clued into Division 1 as Division 2. I've openly said after the first couple of weeks when Alf was struggling that I would win Swemp with this Team GB team. How is he performing at the moment?
Last time out, if we just take a look at last time, it was a cup mate. A cup match they won 5-0, but
Yeah,
I suppose we
that
don't
doesn't
take
count.
loads out. They've lost to really Aston's Ajax, but on the back of wins against Roundhay
Okay,
and North
so
Trafford.
they're consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, the fundamentals are all there for a very good team. You know, I like that he's called it Team GB, even though there's one Irish, one Scottish, and the rest are all
An
English.
Englishman, an Irishman, and a Scotsman. Team England, as Ryan says there. There's a few GB players somewhere. And old age ballers have made some changes, but I had to make some late changes myself to do this after Josh actually submitted a 2 at the back formation. So I just moved his wing backs to full back and put the arrow to the same place as it would have been before. So it's still a halfway line run, but they're starting from actually as part of a back four.
This is another one of them teams that I appreciate because they've gone with a theme. But equally, you look at it, and we spoke about it with the Flamingos team last year. That there was a theme there, you know, that Legends wanted an all, what was it, under 19 squad or whatever. But you look at getting the same vibe from this. If you're picking, he's got an old age. Did he specify what the age was? They had to be over 30 or 32 or
31,
whatever.
over 31, which isn't really old.
No, so bear in mind, I'm 31 sat here now. There is probably better over 31-year-olds than the ones that have actually been selected.
Yes, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily go, oh, one of the greatest over 31s in the world is Enrique Estebaranz, but it's good to see that he's in there and he's actually doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Josh is here.
Cool.
Good evening, Josh.
So again, it's nice to see. Dennis Irwin at right back always makes me laugh. Like the fact, not that he's been selected there. You know, his positional play is defender right, left, but everyone will always associate him with being a left back.
Yeah, he was a left back unless you know they had the odd time when say Gary Neville was out and Phil would play, so Irwin would go and play on the other side, or you know the days of when we were Silvestre there at the same time as Irwin, and sometimes they'd do that. But yeah, very much associated with being left back, right-footed left back. That's Dennis Irwin. Great free kick.
I mean, ultimately, I say that now that I've seen that Cafu is injured, that explains why that's happened, really, doesn't it?
True, it does. It does indeed. In fact, he's the only option for that position. So yeah, Jurgen Kohler injured, Desai suspended.
Looking at who he's picked, I would have maybe considered going free at the back and having a Maldini Adams Blanc partnership.
Well, I suppose he was trying the 2 at the back out of forgetting he couldn't play 2 at the back. Top.
Dennis was better than both the Nevilles, top player. He could take a mean penalty, that's for sure.
Great penalties, great free kicks. Steve Bruce was obviously a very good penalty taker himself, wasn't he? That season they won the Cup Winners' Cup in 1991. He scored 18 goals that season, Steve Bruce.
That is a great fact.
Team GB versus the Old Age Ballers. Predictions?
I'm afraid to say, but after the last game as well, I'm going to go 0-0.
0-0, because we wasted all our goals in one match. Let's see how this one goes. It's a penalty, and Michael Owen scores. Oliver Kahn is beaten by an early penalty. Wouldn't remember 31. What happened when I was 31? Oh, I got married when I was 31. So Owens had one disallowed. He's had one disallowed there. So he's looking pretty lively, and Barry Ferguson makes it 2. Josh ain't anything less than 7-0. And Owen has gone off. Owen looking lively, and now he's not looking quite so lively. You'd imagine that Smith would be on, unless you want to push Paul Scholes up front in any kind of strange thing. Why is it Anfield? It's a good question. Why Anfield? Maybe he's got a reason as to why that is. Tato's feeling particularly ill as a result of that. Yeah, it's sad times.
You think Phil Neville's the best of those 3? Is he referring to Phil Neville, Gary Neville, and Dennis Irwin?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Phil Neville was more versatile. Played very well.
So was John O'Shea. If you want versatility.
Yeah, but Dennis Irwin was good because I'm pretty sure he looked like he wore lipstick while he played.
I can't say I've noticed.
Yeah, no, yeah. Gary Pallister. What about Gary Pallister? Wasn't I mean, he could play right back, couldn't he? Because didn't he play for England at right back in one match in Euro '92, maybe or something? But how excitable my voice goes when goals go in. Yes. Yes, it does. I've almost, I don't know, what do I base my commentary style on? Murray Walker or something. I wouldn't really liken it to.
I would love to hear you go full South American commentator and just go with like a goal.
But by the time you've finished that, there's probably another one's gone in.
Carry on.
Slow it down. Just Phil Neville absolutely munched Ronaldo. I bet Ronaldo loved it. Paul Parker was a tremendous right back. Sir Alex said Irwin was the best fullback he coached, and Mark Pallister was a great ice hockey player.
That's good to know.
Used to love watching the NHL, and especially playing NHL '96 on the Mega Drive is still, apart from Jump Manager 01 or 02, my favourite game. And let's see what happens here. It's chances. Team GB looking like they're going forward towards getting a 3rd, but a miss there from OABs. They need to get back into this game quickly. Oh, Bosvelt has scored. It's 2-1. That was a good goal. It doesn't sound as good when I just do that, does it? It doesn't sound quite as good. It's we get another goal. You predicted a 0-0. I think you cursed the 0-0, so that was great to see you'd done that. Chances before half time? Nope. It's half time. It's 2-1. Decent match.
That hasn't gone a while. There's a lot of action in.
Yeah, 9 shots for Team GB, all on target. Wow. Yes, I mean they'll obviously be gutted they've only scored twice, but Oliver Kahn has obviously made quite a few good saves. Looking at that,
I'd be disappointed with those just to have only scored twice.
Yeah, have we got Joe Cole on a bit of a knock? Yep, he's got potential knee injury. He's probably the only person to worry about. No tackles really coming in from the midfielders. Did that let their opponents come back into it? And Batistuta, I think he started on 91, didn't he? So
no, it's a very good point you make there. And again, not quite as extreme as in the other game, where obviously they were 3-0 up, got pulled it back to 3-0.
Yeah.
But both teams will still feel that there's a lot to do, and the OABs will still feel that they're in it, and Team GB will still feel they can lose it.
Yes, especially with the inconsistency. Alf's going unchanged for the second half, and is Josh going for a change at this point, or is he sticking to 60? We shall give him a few seconds to give us his word. If he has words for us. I'm just going to have a look to see if he's got any suggestions on his messages. There was no specific changes lined up, so another 10 seconds and we'll kick off the second half.
Let's do it. What game number are we on, sorry?
this is game 6. We do have one game left at this point. I need a treble change and a formation change. Are you going to do them, or are you not? I'm going to kick off and get to 60 minutes because I think you probably have suggested some of the subs by this point. So we'll get to 60 minutes and do that. Not fancy Scally in the squad. I wonder if it was just going for people with international caps, maybe, or something. What are you nibbling, Fivey? It's another player has scored for Team GB. That Welsh guy scores with a punch, and 4. It's 4, and Joe Cole has scored. Look at that! It's 4. No, can't go in. Oh dear.
To answer Mr. Savage's question, yes, apologies for the rustling. I'm feeling quite hungry and I'm trying to bolster my energy levels. So I've done what all parents do, and while the child's asleep, I've stolen one of his Halloween trick-or-treats.
Oh, good choice. Yeah, that's always a good thing to do. Josh, if you think you're on a major lag, just drag it forward to live. Make sure you got it as far forward as possible, or double click the live button if you've got one. So a team next season, Alfco, Team GBN, and I get Michael Hughes in the squad. You're absolutely right. I mean, Neil Lennon's in this squad. He is in there as Northern Irish. Macca for Cole. Macca from Fulchester. Get him on there for Joe Cole. Yeah, click live. Yes, that's a good choice. Is it just the one change from Alf at this point? I'll put the one in, and we'll look at OABs. Batistuta on 78. Yes, already alive. Yeah, you'd have a lag of about 40 seconds maybe, but it won't be too much. But yeah. Just Tato checking that Savage is alright. Maldini's on a 5, and we'll see what's going to go on with these changes here.
I mean, they've got to go for broke to try and get back into it, haven't they?
5, he's a noisy eat. So he's taking Esperanza off for yeah. You know, it's a good change possibly there. Gascoigne off for Hierro. He's holding out for Hierro. Are you running the Haribo on the microphone before eating them?
No, it was one of the Roses chocolates, the one in the orange wrapper. But because I'm doing this on my phone, I was trying to hold the phone up and open the wrapper with one hand, essentially.
Up to mids with full. Hang on, what? Full arrows. Left, back, right, back, up to mid with full arrows. There we are. Okay. Up to mid with full arrows. Yep. 2 centre mids. Is that Simeone or Luis Enrique?
Yeah, I'd be saying it's Simeone.
Go up there. Do-do. There we are.
There you go.
Yep.
No,
yep. And that's what we'll do.
Credit to him for going for it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially at 4-1 as it is now. Will we get some more? We've had a 4-3 already today, and Alf staring at a big victory here, one that was moving up a couple of places in the table as well. They've nearly made it 5. Ooh. Josh, I think he does. One of those weird streams. Is that with the 5 feet eating his sweets or something? I'd be eating sweets if I had any right here. 4-1, very, very comfortable victory. In fact, I've got chocolate, but to be honest, I think the chocolate, I'm an even noisier eater. 16 shots, 15 on target. Well done, Alf.
See, that's the calibre of performance Team GB should have been putting in all season. That's outstanding.
He's found a formation that's working for him, and it's worked incredibly well. Barry Ferguson, 2 assists and a goal, clear man of the match. Didn't have to put a tackle or a header in. just, just did what he needed to do. Very, very solid. Alan Smith, a 9. Yes, he played his last 65 minutes and did a great job for an Owen who'd started off the game fairly well. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, Alan Smith is a very underrated player. I think a lot of people like him, but he's never blessed with being anyone's first choice. But yeah, that's a very very good performance coming off the bench.
An assist and 6 shots on target is very, very good. Simeone winning 11 tackles, trying to do his bit to win something there. But unfortunately for Old Age Ballers, they were outdone by the Old Age manager. He's done a great job there, Mr. Alf. Yes, superb work for Alf. We've got 1 game left. I haven't seen David around, and I haven't seen Steve for a while, but maybe Steve's here to cover. What's going on? You're buzzing around.
Yeah, sorry, I've had to plug my phone charger in because my battery was dying.
He's been attacked by a wasp.
This is my this one doesn't have a very solid connection, so like the slightest move and it comes out and goes in.
Yes, one of those. Yeah, I know what you mean by those. Irritations, that's what they are to the owner. So Steel Hawks, they've kept a very similar formation to usual, but they've called Stefan Ishizaki in for a first start, and I don't think I've ever seen Stefan Ishizaki being used as a centre midfielder.
No, it's an interesting move. This is quite a strange team in the sense of normally, obviously, a lot of the focus is on the players in the attacking areas, but I really like the look of it from goalkeeper to centre backs into defence and midfield, and then it just goes a bit Y from midfield upwards.
Yeah, I mean Murat's been playing. I think he got a hat trick in his last appearance in the league, which is why he's being preferred to a Shearer who's come back now from injury. Palacios.
Well, yeah, I mean, just looking at the subs bench as well as to who's available, my own personal preference would see Dyer, Scholes, Shearer all starting in place of players who are actually starting.
Yeah, I think it's just it's sort of a bit of a team that it could be super strong if he used all the super strong players at once, couldn't it? It could easily win the league if he played those kind of players.
Yeah, I mean, obviously now I've seen obviously Ferdinand's not in the squad, Neville's not in the squad, Bowyer's not in the squad.
It's very, very strong, isn't it? So Falaraki, a team quite similar to Alf's, of course, in terms of it being England based on Euro '96. He's been watching, David. He's here.
Of the Division 1 teams, this is one of the couple that I actually do look out for and hope they do well, because it's a good concept that they've gone for, but also some very nice players mixed into that.
Have they played Team GB yet? They play Team GB in 2 matches time after this one, so it'd be interesting to put the 2 sides up against each other and see how they get on. But yeah, we've got Gascoigne still in the middle of midfield. He nearly reached to 7, but he's got 3 goals this season, which I think I'm quite surprised by.
And he's not the only Gascoigne we've seen either.
No,
which is
Old Age Ballers and Falaraki. So your predictions here from the dentist chair?
I'm going to say I actually fancy Falaraki just because, like I say, Steelhawks have a very good defensive unit, but I feel Falaraki offer a little bit more in attack, so I'm going to say they'll nick this 1-0.
Falaraki. Anyway, I didn't want to play him out wide as Jafar and Beckham are playing well. Absolutely, justify your own decisions. That's what works for me. I mean, I do like Ishizaki, so a chance for him to play in a different position just gives me something to watch, doesn't it, as well? So always
Absolutely.
like it.
And let's face it, how many times have
Gareth
for example,
Southgate scores? No need for Gascoigne today. Southgate's on the goals. Sorry, you were talking. I mean, every time you start
Yeah,
talking,
no,
there'll be a
I was
goal.
just going to say, like, yeah, I was just going to say, how many times, for example, have I watched your teams, whether it's in this or in the Super League, or you've mentioned people who are seemingly playing players out of position, but really, especially with yourself, who does his homework, um, you know, they're not playing out of position. They're playing where their skills cater for.
Like a Petkov kind of player.
Exactly. Petcom was exactly the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, Petkov being listed as a defensive midfielder, but that's because he can play defensive midfield, centre midfield, and attacking mid. So he's called a defensive mid. Anyway, it's 1-0 at half time. Falaraki, yeah, they do look better all round. I know Batty's on a 6, but there's not a single player who's got above a 7 there for Stephen Hawking. Every shot's been on target at this point, which has been
Yeah.
nice, but not an overwhelming match. You know, it's been left on for last today, and it's not
Yeah.
really gone
If you
so well.
imagine, if you look back at, I think it was the last two games where there were a load of shots raining in from everywhere, and there was a high rate of getting them on target. That's where they need to improve, and that's what they need to be aiming for.
They do. Highlight of the game for me so far is Gary Neville's 25 successful passes out of 25 attempts. They'll be staying to 60 minutes, and for Steel Hawks, I mean, David's here, so he can make his own choices of substitutes. What would you do?
Well, again, I've alluded to the fact that I would have had Dyer, Scholes, and Shearer starting. Possibly Kaladze coming in, expecting a difficult second half would be the other option.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility, isn't it? Good night, Mr. Big Noopy. Enjoy your lovely. Are you trying to nip a horse with the pictures you got there? Enjoy your golf. I hope you have I hope you have a. I can't say. Hope you have a below par performance. Sounds wrong. Just sounds wrong.
Yeah, it sounds harsh. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Are you live now, David? Just put yourself live. Get yourself to the part where you're losing 1-0 at half time, and have a little look at that. I mean, Jaffa, is he injured, or is he just he's injured and low stamina. So there we are. My signal's bad. I'll play as is, please. Okay, that's fine. I can do your changes at 60 minutes based on what you'd originally sent in. That's fine. So we go into this second half with, I mean, it's a bit of movement, but not really much going on in terms of shots at this point. A little bit of quietness, a bit of grey screen, and we get to 60 minutes quite quickly. Falaraki balancing out there at 7s with a couple of 8s, and that's the goal scorer and the goalkeeper. So let's have a look at the suggestions from Champigno at his 60-minute subs. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just so David says to run his sub instructions, so I'll do that. That's alright. We go to Champigno, who was quite early in with his things. 3 days ago he sent his team in. Redknapp for Gascoigne. Smash it. And if losing, bring Fowler on. Well, they're not losing. And Symington to manage any injuries. Well, that's Steve McManaman with an injury there, isn't it? So Steve Stone will come on for Steve McManaman.
Steve McManaman is just an injury, really, isn't he?
He's making it look like an Anderton kind of thing here.
Yeah, exactly the kind of thing I had in mind.
What have we got here? So don't worry about it. Get yourself some packs and go out tomorrow bedtime after this for you. Yeah, are they due? Were they due to be Super League games tomorrow night?
Well, Ryan suggested that he would do it tomorrow because he wasn't doing yesterday.
Yeah.
And then I kind of said on the show, I'll discuss with Ryan if he's going to, but I fully imagine there won't be one Friday, and I'll be doing it Sunday.
The cat. Yes, the cat's on screen. I just totally distracted by the fact that there was a cat staring at me.
Yes, he's come to see who I'm talking to.
Jealous.
So yeah, in essence, I kind of told everyone that there wouldn't be one on Friday because I stepped in and did last night. But if
Yeah,
Ryan wants to do tomorrow, that's entirely up to him. I just won't go to bed and I will do the packs tonight.
I'm okay either way. I think there might be some people going to firework displays and things tomorrow. I don't know, but mine's on Saturday this week.
That is a consideration, to be fair.
Yeah. I thought there was one tomorrow, but it turns out it's actually Saturday. Not bonfire night. So if Jaffa's injured, then to bring on Barsom on the left and sub Skulls for Jaffa. So let's do that. The league may as well dissolve. Any injuries to Mendieta or any defence? Right. So any other injuries? If Murat hasn't had a shot on target, so we need to check that stat there. About things, any other injuries? I don't think there are any other injuries there, so that's okay.
Nothing on him.
And has Murat had a shot on target? He's had 2, so we'll kick on with the rest of the game. And we come towards the end of the round with this. Will the game fizzle out, or will we get some more goals? Who knows? Shouting at any firework displays all after 7:30. You don't want firework displays in the light, though, do you? Gotta let it go.
That's a two-sided issue because obviously you got to take into account people work on a Friday, so you're not going to start them 6 o'clock at the absolute earliest. I mean, it's dark from about 4:30. Going to respect 5P's decision to oust me. I haven't ousted anybody. I merely stepped in out of the goodness of my heart. Tried to do it for everyone who was like, please, we need some Super League content.
It's 1-0 to Falaraki at the end there.
Back to the fireworks.
Yes, indeed.
So they won't start any earlier than 6 so that people have got time to get home. But then equally, I don't see why people are still firing them off at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. It's like getting in houses.
No, half-hour display between 7:30 and 8. That'll be all right. Or a 7 to 7 kind of thing. Yeah. I don't want them at all, Swempy. They're a stain on society. Tony Adams, man of the match. Tony Adams. I delayed my show, you cancelled it.
I'm saying nothing.
The look on your face. 20 offsides to 14. That's probably why we kept so low on the attempts and shots. People just running offside for most of the game. Yeah.
Tony Adams, man of the match. What a legend.
Tony Adams, 9 tackles, 8-1, 5 tackles, 5 headers, 5-1. Lots of key stuff. And for the other team, just didn't really get going. And Jaffa was injured, but the only player in the team who ended up on an 8. So let's push into the results there. So we've had a full round of games and we've had plenty of goals today. What's that? 3, 6, 7, 10, 15, 22, 24 goals.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Trumpton was the game of the night. Team GB arguably the performance of the night. Although I'd like to give Asna's Ajax a little shout out as well for the very late Mido winner.
Yes, indeed. What a comeback that was from being in a position where there were a man down and a goal down in 15 minutes or so. Anyone else watching this whilst naked?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say it's definitely fifey. Yeah, that's how we order it. Dalgety Rangers now 6 points clear of Trumpton at this early stage of the season. I don't think we've ever seen a team with such a dominant lead. And so already it looks quite ominous for the opponents.
I don't think they'll maintain it.
They're such a strong side. They are such a strong side. Other teams could get a good run though and give them a challenge.
Everyone in Division 1 is a strong side. And yes, they had a very good result today. And evidently plenty of other good results in the opening 8 games now. But from what I have seen, I think that there are teams that can take points off them. I think there are teams that are currently in false positions, and I expect it to be. I mean, don't get me wrong; they will almost certainly finish in a top three, if not the top two. But I don't think they will maintain and develop the gap that they have already.
Yeah, I think that maybe 6 points. It might go as high as 8 and probably be a kind of sit around 4 for a while, maybe. This is
Mhm.
weird. This amount of goals around here, every single team scoring and conceding between 11 and 15. It's a strange little group. It does show how competitive it can be around there, though. That
Absolutely.
And then imagine Madrid at the bottom of the table, still scoring 14 goals, but it's them and
And they were very unlucky tonight, and I think if they carry on in the vein that they showed, they won't be bottom for long.
no. Now they've got some management who's looking to kind of keep them going. No, no awards, but they didn't even retain last time's award that was made. It's quite strange. Quick look at the goal scorers in terms of average rating. Van Nistelrooy nearly up at a 9, and his teammate Nikiforenko in second. Um, Goals wise, Nikiforenko and Van Nistelrooy for the same team, topping the charts with Kesman and Penza on 5. Goals conceded, Carlo Cudicini 19, 4 clear of anybody else. Penalties, there's been 8 penalties taken and 8 penalties scored. Although you have to actually have scored a penalty to be on that list. If you miss a penalty, I'm not sure if you get on if you haven't scored
You
one.
have to be on it, yeah.
Yeah. So Van Nistelrooy 6 assists as well. What a season he's having. Yellow
Absolutely.
cards. Roy Keane, of course, up there on 5. Uh,
Surprised there.
he's not on the red card list though, but there are 3 round here players. Um, and then a quick look at man of the matches: Van Nistelrooy, Nikiforenko, and Elbert, the same team, all topping the tables. Best passer: Jamie Carragher and Neville at the top there. Tackles: Sol Campbell and Paul Ince on 7 apiece. Dribbles: Kieran Dyer top there on 4 with Robbie Fowler. And shots on target: Alan Smith. Alan Smith's 90%. And just a quick look there at the worst discipline for teams. I was like, I'd like to see if any team's scoring 3 teams with 2 goals there from free kicks. And the worst discipline: 16 yellows for Falaraki and Old Age Ballers, 3 reds for Tyneside and round here. Fifey, it's been great to have you on. Thank you very much for joining.
No, no problem. Anytime. Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem. We look to next time and we see what have we got? Big battles. Real E versus Loco Calavera. So second versus third is attracting my attention, as is Trumpton Team GB. 2 teams that can score goals.
Yeah, they should be absolute cracking fixtures, to be fair. Something to really look forward to next time out.
To Real E look forward to. Indeed. There'll be a game next
Yeah.
Thursday, there'll be a game the Thursday after, but the week after that there'll either be a rearranged day or it will be no games because unfortunately it's parents' evening and it's a late finish for me. So we'll see how that one goes. In fact, in fact, we'll see how the entire week goes there, because the Monday 22nd is the old Mega Horse birthday, so we'll see if there's a game on that day as well. But that's just a quick heads up to the 2 viewers that are left over. Anyway, thank you very much to everyone, and good night.
Cheers, guys.